go mad watching her. I hope, and I think she's learned from her mistakes like you want your children to learn from their mistakes. But she's an adult, and I don't get a say.
Just remember that you are the prize.
Yeah,
I'm the prize. What does that mean?
It just means not compromising like my values, my happiness, my peace, not settling for less than what I know I deserve, and not being afraid to walk away from a situation that can no longer serve me.
Yo, shut up. Imagine calling yourself the prize of you dating future, baby. That's why I always tell my young G's, their past matters. The type of men that they used to date and they past matters. Imagine saying that I just will never compromise my expectation. Meanwhile, you getting your back twisted and rearranged by a dude like Future.
So now people are saying even Steve Harvey is starting to see things differently about Lori, and it's turning heads everywhere. The talk online is that he's finally realizing she's been acting spoiled and moving reckless in the spotlight, and folks are not holding back about it. What makes this mess even louder is how people keep bringing up Steve's parenting choices. Critics claim he's poured tons of time, energy, and money into Lori.
When a woman finds a good one, then that's what you're looking for. But I will say that she's young still, you know what I mean? And I too was looking forward to them making it, because I thought, oh, you know what? She's been looking for someone to keep on her arm, to be able to have a relationship with that is meaningful and is successful, because we know that the girl gonna keep her somebody that is gonna be newsworthy, you know. But well, I think,
damn, Lisa Ray.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, she ain't no joke. She ain't. And her mama, Marjorie, my girlfriend, she gonna make sure that she doing and navigating the right way, because she gonna make sure that she is. And I think every mother should do that, you know. But I think at the same time, she's young. I think the established relationship that Michael did have before this one, I think that maybe that social media, that all of that was a lot for him. And I think that he, you know, I heard about his ex, and him was so serious that he may have missed her.
While rumors swirl that his biological kids didn't get that same level of support, on top of that, there have been serious accusations in the past about family conflict, including claims from his son about being mistreated. When Steve responded, people felt like he misunderstood the criticism, acting like they wanted him to turn against Lori, when really they were calling out what looked like favoritism. Now, fast forward to 2026, and the internet is buzzing because Steve allegedly called Lori a brat, and people cannot believe the switch up. Many are saying it's wild that it supposedly took her breakup with Michael B. Jordan for things to finally click for him. That situation still has people talking, especially since Lori has been trending lately for all the wrong reasons. Reports started spreading that she tried to reconnect with Michael after his Oscar win, and instantly, the backlash came pouring in. Social media lit up, dragging her and revisiting old drama. Steve's name got pulled right back into it too, because when Lori and Michael split, people remember he seemed to quietly support Michael, while Lori and Marjorie were throwing shade and painting him as the problem. Meanwhile, online chatter kept insisting Lori was the one who messed things up, and it didn't stop there. Just weeks ago, Steve and Michael were seen together at a basketball game, and the vibe looked genuinely warm and friendly. That caught attention fast, because people noticed Steve hasn't kept that same energy with Lori's other exes after breakups. But with Michael, it clearly hits different. Now here's where it gets even more intense. According to the ongoing talk, Steve and Lori allegedly argued about this because she felt him staying cool with Michael made her look bad.
You know, I know you just started dating this year, so how are we gonna handle that? Okay, no athletes, no rappers. We're gonna go down the list.
When it comes to dating, my mom has nothing to worry about. I got this.
Don't ever try to fit in when God has clearly created you to stand out. Always be a lady. And understand, you are the prize. Don't give yourself to anybody that is not going to be your husband. If they love you, if they really care about you, they'll wait on you. Steve and I have been drilling this into our daughters for forever.
People are shocked, saying she really tried to tell her father, don't be friendly with him, just to protect her image. The whole situation has folks shaking their heads, calling it messy, complicated, and way too public. But here's where the situation really starts to spiral. Now people are speculating that Steve is sitting back looking at all this chaos and thinking it might be his fault for giving Lori too much and letting things slide for too long. There's even talk bringing up that old moment from the Steve Harvey show, where Marjorie was warning Lori not to get caught up messing around with just anybody in college. And now, folks are side-eyeing that clip hard, saying it clearly didn't stick, because Lori's dating history has been all over the headlines with high-profile names and big money attached. Word going around is that Steve allegedly feels like if he had been more strict and set stronger boundaries, things might have turned out very different. People are reading into his recent energy and saying it looks like a father dealing with heavy regret, realizing too late that certain choices may have shaped how everything played out. What's making this even more uncomfortable is the ongoing conversation about how his attention was divided. Critics keep pointing out that while Lori was getting the spotlight and support, his biological kids were not getting that same level of presence. And according to various reports, even when he was around, the relationship wasn't always smooth. There are also claims floating around that Marjorie encouraged Steve to focus more on her children, Lori, Morgan, and Jason, even though they aren't his biological kids. One insider reportedly said that after the marriage, most of his time and energy shifted toward that side of the family. A source told Radar Online that Steve has 4 biological children from previous relationships and 3 stepchildren with Marjorie, and balancing all of that has created serious tension behind the scenes. He did step up and adopt Marjorie's kids, and by all public accounts, he's shown them love like they're his own. But behind the scenes, people keep saying there's been serious tension inside the Harvey family, and it's not as picture-perfect as it looks. And then things take a sharp turn when you bring up Steve's second wife, Mary. Years ago, she actually filed legal action and made some heavy claims, including that Marjorie had influence over Steve's decisions regarding their son, Winton. In those filings, she accused Steve of going too far with discipline, and those allegations sparked a lot of controversy at the time.
Be real careful, because Lori, boy, she be in my... I can't make no mistakes. I can't make stuff. I saw one of her exes somewhere at a game somewhere, and I shook his hand. Boy, I can't even touch his no more. I better not acknowledge him or look at him or nothing no more. So I'm off limits. If you are ex, your is my ex too. That's the rule. The rule in our house is any boy that's an ex, he's now my ex too. I must hate him like we was dating. It's been hard, man, because her life has had to be played out in the public eye.
Reports from outlets like TMZ mentioned claims that Winton had visible injuries, with photos allegedly showing bruises and marks on his body. According to those reports, it was also claimed that he experienced physical discomfort afterward. These are serious accusations, and they've remained part of the public conversation for years, even though the situation never fully played out in court. Before anything could move forward legally, it was said that the case didn't continue, and that only added more questions for people watching from the outside. Some believe resources and influence played a role, while others argue there wasn't enough to proceed. Either way, the situation left a cloud of controversy that still gets brought up today. And Winton isn't the only child whose relationship with Steve has been questioned. His son Broderick once sat down with him and openly shared that they didn't really have a relationship until he was around 16 years old. The moment caught attention because Steve seemed genuinely surprised, which made the whole exchange feel even more uncomfortable to watch. From the outside, it looked like Steve handled his financial responsibilities, but critics argue that emotional presence wasn't always there for his biological kids. And according to what's been shared publicly, that same pattern showed up with his twin daughters, Carly and Brandy. There have been claims that after his divorce from their mother, he wasn't very involved in their day-to-day lives, which added to the growing conversation about distance within the family. Meanwhile, Lori's experience appears completely different. She's often spoken positively about Steve and their bond, and their relationship seems very close, but even that has sparked backlash because some people feel the contrast between her experience and that of his biological children is hard to ignore. At one point, Lori posted a video of them spending time together, And during the clip, she asked him who his favorite person was, and he answered, her. That moment had people talking, with many interpreting it as subtle shade toward his other kids, whether intentional or not. She's also shared how they go on yearly father-daughter outings, something critics quickly pointed out hasn't been publicly associated with his other daughters. That difference in treatment has fueled even more debate online, with people questioning how balanced things really are within the family. Social media has not held back either. One person wrote, "She carries his last name, but not his DNA. Lori is not his daughter. Steve is a joke man." Another said, "It's strange how Steve Harvey praises Lori so loudly, but barely mentions his biological daughters." Those kinds of comments keep the conversation heated and divided. At the end of the day, nobody is saying adopting and loving stepchildren is wrong. That's not the issue. What people are really debating is whether that love came at the expense of his relationship with his biological kids, and that's where opinions start to clash hard. Now, the big question people keep asking is this: if Steve is now calling Lori spoiled and checking her behavior, is he right for that, or is it too late after everything that's already happened? Now, here's the part that really has people divided. Some are saying Steve finally speaking up and calling Lori out is long overdue, while others feel like it's a case of too little, too late, after years of letting things slide. On one side, you've got people arguing that as a father, he has every right to check his daughter, no matter her age. They're saying if he sees behavior he doesn't agree with, especially playing out in public, then stepping in now is better than staying silent forever. To them, this is him finally taking accountability and trying to correct what he feels went wrong. But then, there's the other side, and they are not letting him off easy at all. Critics are pointing out that if Lori really did grow up spoiled, that didn't just happen overnight. They're saying that kind of attitude comes from years of being treated a certain way, and now turning around and calling it out feels inconsistent. Some people are even questioning the timing of all this. They're like, why now? Why after all the headlines, the relationships, and the public attention? It makes people wonder if this is really about concern, or if it's about how everything is making him look in the public eye. And let's be real, the internet is always going to pick a side and run with it. Some are defending Lori, saying she's just living her life and doesn't owe anyone perfection. Others are dragging her, saying the pattern speaks for itself, and it's been obvious for a long time. Either way, this situation is messy, layered, and far from over, and people are watching every move closely. And honestly, this whole situation just leaves more questions than answers. One minute, it looks like a tight father-daughter bond, and the next, everything is getting called out in public for everyone to judge. Is Steve finally being real and holding Lori accountable? Or is this just damage control now that the spotlight is getting too hot? And on the flip side, is Lori really as spoiled as people claim? Or is she just an easy target because of her lifestyle and who she dates? At the end of the day, there's clearly a lot going on behind closed doors that we don't fully see. But one thing is for sure, people are not letting this go anytime soon. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Steve is right for calling her out? Or should he have handled this differently? Drop your thoughts below.